Question 6. If x is bigger than 2, then notice that right here we have a fraction. This is called the rational expression, where the top and bottom is just like polynomials. X squared minus x minus 6 on the top over x squared minus 4 on the bottom. So usually, what do we do with fraction? We can reduce fractions, right? So let me give you an example. I like to give you guys examples. Let's say I have 20 times 45. So we have a fraction, right? And the first thing that we study about fractions, I think if you look at 20 over 45, we will think about how to reduce this fraction. And one way to do this is that 20, we break this down, right? We can factor it. 20 is, you can think about this as 4 times 5 is equal to 20. And 45, you can think about that as 9 times 5, right? 9 times 5 does give you 45. So you factor the top, 20 becomes 4 times 5, and then you factor the bottom, 45 becomes 9 times 5. And then you can cancel out the common factor, which is the common factor 5. And then you can write this as 4 over 9. So this is how we reduce fractions. And if you want to keep going, and in fact you will not be able to find a common factor anymore. So this is what we are going to do right here. Question 6. And by the way, do not let this x greater than 2 bother you too much. I think this is just, I will just say, this is the way that, this is right here so that it's a way to make sure that things works out right. Okay, because, for example, when you are dealing with fractions, you cannot divide by 0. So they just want to make sure that we are not dividing 0 in this case. Okay. So let me start with, let me have x squared minus x minus 6 over x squared minus 4. So to factor this, and I'm probably just going to write down right here. So notice that I have my top right here. I'm going to do this separately. Notice I'm just going to look at the top for now. So my goal right here is to write this as a product of two other expressions. So one way to do this is that we can just kind of guess and check, okay? And ask yourself, what times what will be x squared? X times x gives you x squared, right? So I can put x right here and x right here. And I'm going to use the last number, which is negative 6. And then again, I will ask myself, what times what will be negative 6? There are choices. And let me do this one first. Negative 1 times 6 gives you negative 6, right? So let me put down negative 1 right here and positive 6 right here. If you want to put down negative 1 and positive 6, notice we haven't used the number in the middle yet. When we multiply this out, let's see what will happen. If you multiply this out, you get x squared, and then x times 6, we get plus 6x, and then negative 1 times x, we get minus x. Negative 1 times 6, we get negative 6. And combine items in the middle, we get 5x, right? Because 6x minus x is 5x. X squared plus 5x minus 6. So notice that I did this incorrectly because the 5x does not match with the negative x in the middle. So this is not the correct factor of the top. Okay, this is not the correct factor of the top. So let me try again. X squared minus x minus 6. My goal is to break this down into two parentheses. And the first thing I'm going to enter in the parentheses is x and x. Because x times x gives you x squared. Minus 6, negative 2 times 3 gives you negative 6. Or negative 3 times 2 also give you negative 6. Okay? But I want to pick negative 3 right here and plus 2. I want to pick negative 3 and 2. Because, and actually, to do the check, we can just do the middle. What I mean by that is, we can just take negative 3 times x, we get negative 3x. And then if we do the outside right here, x times 2, we get 2x. Negative 3x with the positive 2, together we get negative x, which this part match with the middle. So this is the correct factor of the original numerator. So on the top, I have x minus 3 times x plus 2. X minus 3 times x plus 2. And now let's look at the bottom. Okay, let's look at the bottom. So again, I will write down some notes. Because the bottom right here, we have x squared minus 4. We have two terms. So this is a special product. Okay, this is a special factoring formula. So let me write down a note right here. If we have a squared minus b squared, so a number to the second power minus another number to the second power, we can factor this as a plus b times a minus b. If you would like, you can write this as a minus b times a plus b. Doesn't matter. The order doesn't matter. Okay, so this is called the difference of two squares. Difference of two squares. This is how we factor difference of two squares. So first we have x to the second power. So I'm going to pay attention to x to the second power minus 4. And 4, actually you can think about 4 as 2 times 2, which is 2 to the second power, right? So we have 2 to the second power. So to factor this out, we can use this formula right here. So a will be the x right here, right? And then b is the 2. So we can just write this as the first plus the second, so x minus 2. Now x, or you can write it as x plus 2. So let me write it as x plus 2. Oops, wrong color. Let me just write it as black. X plus 2 times a minus b. The first one and the second one by the subtraction. X minus 2. So x squared minus 4 becomes x squared plus, x plus 2 times x minus 2. This is the correct factor for x squared minus 4. And I'm going to put it on the denominator. X plus 2 times x minus 2. So once we factor out the top and bottom, look for the common factor, which is the x plus 2 inside of the parentheses. Right? Then they are exactly the same. I can cancel them. And I get x minus 3 on the top over x minus 2 on the bottom. And that's choice B. That's answer choice B.